Rome's hidden horror, the truth about being a slave. Get ready to charge into the rough-and-tumble world of ancient Rome, where being a Roman slave was like signing up for a non-stop gauntlet of hardship. Slave labor was the heartbeat of the Roman Republic, powered by countless folks with no rights, no belongings, and stuck under the thumb of masters who could work them to exhaustion, starve them, torture them, or even snuff them out just for sport. Sure, you've seen Russell Crowe slicing and dicing as a slave in Gladiator, but the real story is way grittier than any Hollywood blockbuster. Today, we're ripping the veil off to show you what it was truly like to be a Roman slave. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button for weird history from the world and drop a comment with what other bonkers history topics you're craving. Alright, let's Rome, partners. Roman slaves didn't just sweep floors or tend crops. They were the ultimate jack of all trades for every dirty job in the empire, urban or rural. They tackled everything from cooking and scrubbing to slogging away in silver mines. On big country estates, slaves flipped between household chores and heavier tasks like blacksmithing, baking, or standing watch. Some city slaves scored slightly fancier roles like crunching numbers or managing businesses for wealthy tycoons. If you were a prisoner of war turned slave, you might have been sold to the public to put out fires, spruce up public buildings, or yet play executioner. Talk about a job you wouldn't brag about. Some slaves were born into the grind, spending their whole lives as their master's property, while others had a shot at freedom if they could hustle some coin or catch a lucky break. The simplest escape, your master just saying you're free, often in a will with a ceremony or payment to make it official. Others sold themselves into slavery to clear debts, walking free once their contract was up. Slaves could also stash peculium, cash or land they kinda sorta controlled under their master's nose, to buy their freedom. But don't pop the champagne. Manumission didn't make you a full Roman citizen. You'd be a conditional citizen tied to your old master as a client, blocked from public office, and if you were too young, Roman law said no dice per the jurist Gaius. Freedom, more like freedom with a catch. Being a Roman slave was flat-out brutal, no matter the century. Mess up? Brace for punishments that'd make your stomach churn. In Plautus Menachmi, the slave Messenio lays it out. Stripes, fetters, the mill, hunger, bitter cold. That's what you get for slacking. Masters could dish out whippings, chain you up, or send you to grind grain until you collapsed. Worse, they could sell you off, hang you, or crucify you for the tiniest slip. Try to run, they'd brand you like a steer. Talk about a mark you can't erase. Food was another slap in the face. Slaves, scraping the bottom of society, weren't exactly feasting like senators. Cato the Elder, a 3rd-2nd century BCE hotshot, mapped out the bare-bones diet for agricultural slaves. Wheat to make bread, or just bread for shackled slaves who couldn't grind. In the blazing summer fields they got extra flour and wine, because who doesn't need a drink after toiling in the Roman heat? They also chowed on relish, but don't think ballpark toppings. This was olives, maybe some wild fruits and veggies they scrounged, or crops they grew themselves. Urban slaves might tend city gardens or swipe their master's leftovers. Gourmet dining, more like gourmet surviving. Some slaves ditched the fields for the gladiator ring, rubbing shoulders with criminals and prisoners of war. Gladiatorial contests, starting in the 3rd century BCE, were mostly slave-fueled. Ever hear of Spartacus? That slave-turned-gladiator trained in a Roman gladiator school, less elite academy, more sweat-drenched dungeon. Gladiators got food, medical care, and training, but they were treated like prize stallions, not humans, according to archaeologist Wolfgang Neubauer. Fun fact, they weren't killed as often as movies make out, too pricey. Some freed slaves even signed up to fight, swearing a hardcore gladiatorial oath to face fire, chains, or a blade. If they're volunteering for that, life after manumission must have been tougher than a bad batch of Roman wine. Where did slaves crash? Urban or rural, they were shoved into cramped quarters far from their masters, often near storage rooms, packed in like pickles in a jar. Domestic slaves stayed closer, sometimes bunking near their master to jump at late-night demands. Style? Forget togas or stolas. Slaves got a plain tunic, a cloak every 2 years, and shoes that had to last just as long. No duct tape to fix those holes, folks. The Senate once floated the idea of a slave uniform to spot them easily, but bailed. Scared slaves would see their huge numbers and start a ruckus. Good call, because slaves were everywhere, and the air was thick with tension. Enter Spartacus, the gladiator who sparked a massive slave revolt from 73 to 71 BCE, rallying 70,000 slaves and supporters to take on Rome's army. They scored 3 victories before Spartacus went down fighting, speared in the thigh, shield up, battling to the end with his crew. The revolt shook Rome to its core, leading to laws pushing for better slave treatment. Unlike other systems, Roman slavery wasn't about race. After the Punic Wars, thousands from Greece, Egypt, North Africa, Gaul, and Asia Minor were enslaved, working as artisans, laborers, or even personal attendants for elite women, handling tasks like hair and makeup. Talk about a tough gig. Thinkers like Seneca and former slave Epictetus pushed for kinder treatment, with Seneca saying slaves were human, sharing the same sky and breath. Noble, you bet. Free, not so much. Slavery was the rotten foundation. Attendants were often slaves, trained for personal tasks like hair or cosmetics for elite women. Of Rome's economy, but it wasn't built to last. Thankfully, it collapsed with the empire in 476 CE. What's your take on the wild, harsh life of Roman slaves? Let us know in the comments, and check out more epic stories from weird history from the world. Just maybe don't try enrolling in gladiator school anytime soon.